Please subscribe to Bear Nerd Fun. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Hail to all. We do not need. Hail to all. Hail to all. Now come on, Hollywood. Stop smelling your own farts. You might get mistaken for arse sniffers. Remember, when you go woke, you go broke. Hail to the fandom menace. Well, hail to all. Well, I'm back. Oh, I just found another article by Noway Neophobic. Why so serious, JJ? Star Wars Episode 9 JJ Abrams faces hardship to save the mess. Just today, we got hands on an obviously legitimate leak from former Lucasfilm employee. A big thanks to Club Star Wars for the link. The point why I think this is legitimate is this pic, but like always, take it with a grain of salt. I am 99% sure that this is also done for marketing purposes. It reads like Lucasfilm is about to sell Episode 9 to us by leaking everything we want to hear. Believe it or not, but we're not all deluded about the state of affairs here. We just need the paycheck and experience to move on to equally good positions elsewhere. But I'd say that most of us are actually Star Wars fans, so it really shouldn't come as a surprise that some of us are bitter too. Look at this right here. Look at that picture right there. Oh, dear cast and crew of Episode 9, there are no words to, can't read that one, express our gratitude, and your work was next level spectacular, and you do it all with kindness and respect. There are no words. That's the most of what I could read of that. Marketing or not, they admit that Star Wars is a mess right now. A simple fact the fandom menace talks about for a long time. The truth comes out more and more, especially now after Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, released his memoirs. The link of the article will be in the info section. Come check this out right here. We all knew that something like this will happen. The truth always comes out somehow. See the actual impeachment attempts of the Democrats in the U.S. ridiculous. What I'm still angry about is the fact that still one simple truth is only talked about by media outlets like us, who love real Star Wars. The still ongoing slandering and name-calling of critical fans, which clearly was started by Lucasfilm employees and shills alike, is a shame for the whole fandom. The narrative is enforced over and over and is already believed by a lot of simple-minded people. I call them perfect customers. Once upon a time, back in the old days, we called folks like that schmoes. Yeah. Now they're referred to as, in this light, normies. Back to the article. It is obvious that this idea is used by clearly biased activists to push their agenda to silence a specific group of people. The writers of these hit pieces remind me as a German centrist observer from afar on the clearly immoral and extreme tactics used by the American Democrats against the President of the United States, which actually take place and backfires out in the open. Now keep in mind, folks, the fellow that wrote this article is not in the States. Keep that in mind. It reads always the same way. Angry fanboys against women and people of color. Have a look at our team page and you will realize these lies are for what they are. Right here. You can find it right here, team page. It's a hyperlink. Lucasfilm employees and shills started it. Disney and Lucasfilm are in full damage control mode. The massive amount of so-called leaks clearly show us this. But still, the political agenda about the angry white fanboy is pushed. These people all sound like clones of AOC and Ilhan Omar, constantly using lies and smear campaigns just to get what they want. And it constantly backfires out in the open. Again, this is an absolute shame to fandoms which are based on love for their specific escapisms. Yeah, stop messing with our escapisms. I use these comparisons absolutely intentional to bring focus to the partisan activist tactics which are used all over the place in the movement. These people have to be called out for what they do. Normal people, franchises, and communities. In my opinion, these people are completely nuts. Yeah, I have to agree. They're nuts. The people in the Axis media, completely deranged. I'd have to agree with that. From my perspective, it must be clearly said that the responsibility for these happenings and the current bad state of the Star Wars franchise lies without a doubt at the Disney Lucasfilm employees and shilling media outlets. I want you to remember that these things are perfectly documented by Ichibaka and Stephen Walton Jr. in their upcoming books. Poor JJ Abrams in stress. I feel for him. I think not. JJ was one of the active name callers of the fans, calling them sexist and misogynists. And I personally wish him all work-related stress he can get by trying to save the franchise from the destruction they themselves caused it. The leak from the Lucasfilm employee reads further. I'm not here to sell you on The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know much about the story because I never read the script, and I haven't watched a cut of the film. I got to see around 10 scenes while I was on location, so that's not enough for me to judge the film. My goal was to vent and say that you're not the only bitter fans out there. Some of us right here involved in this thing are as well. My only great experience was with JJ on the film because he was like a breath of fresh air after the frustration that was 2016-2017. I can only speak about him as a person, not as a director or a writer. And as a writer, he's okay, at best, from what I have seen. But I like him as a director. That said, he was very different on 9 than he was on 7. He's more stressed and more desperate to actually tell a story his childhood Star Wars fan self would be proud of first and foremost. It's one of the first things he said in a speech on set last year in August. After seeing him work his ass off, I started to believe it. That doesn't mean 9 will be good. What it means to me is that at the very least, this will come from a place of passion and respect as opposed to whatever direction Ryan went with. So, this can be interpreted in both ways. This person really don't like Rian Johnson's work. Or Lucasfilm does guerrilla marketing and admits that The Last Jedi was a failure. I really tend to believe that this is a marketing strategy to get old and really pissed fans back on board. In my opinion, this is one of the last options they have to get some of us back. The hashtag boycott episode 9 already has some decent tracking on Twitter. No wonder. Who wants to be called all kinds of evil names in the book just for being loyal to the franchise for up to more than 40 years, bringing in whole families and friends, buy every merch, and visit every convention just because you didn't like the new film made by obvious activists or virtue signaling brain amoebas. Yeah. Enough is enough. On your knees and beg. How dumb must a leader of one of the biggest companies in entertainment be to let something like this happen to one of the most beloved franchises and biggest fan bases ever existed? How dumb must one be to create an activist bunch of creeps as gatekeepers, alienated legacy fans with dumb slurs and mean lies over and over? Yeah, this was aimed at all of us folks that were fans of Star Wars that didn't like what they did to our myths and mythoses. Back the article. I must say, I really never have even anything dumber than this in my whole life, and I wish Disney absolutely every backlash for this. But this is just my opinion. That's right. Mine as well. That's my opinion as well. And that's what we do here. We express opinions. Yeah, call me hateful. I want to see how you react. If someone constantly tries to make you things you are not. When people constantly try to gatekeep you away from the thing you love for decades. When people go so far that they stalk an actor's family and try to separate the marriage couple just so their fantasy of Reylo can happen. These are the lying gatekeepers you have created by your virtue signaling and name calling of fans, calling fans out there. Disney, this was you by your own, empowering dumb and nasty behavior. I call it a bunch of claptrap. Do I hear you begging, Disney? Our whistleblower tells further. This is, my humble opinion, is what holds the franchise back. Their position got their heads too much, and they resent JJ for having his own ideas and wanting to branch, wanting to lash out. I think the saddest thing to me was seeing JJ work so hard on 9 in a panicked and desperate to fix it and tell his story kind of way. You can tell he cares. You could also sense a touch of hopelessness as he's trying to figure out how to navigate it in a way that doesn't offend the previous director, even though he clearly wasn't pleased with what The Last Jedi gave us. Now, I don't know his relationship with Mark to a deep degree, but I did see them getting along way more than he did with Ryan. Though story-wise, it was too late to fix Luke in a way that would be entirely satisfying to Mark due to what happened in The Last Jedi. For what it's worth, Mark showed up at JJ's Bad Robot for various events and even got honored with Bad Robot's own Oscar Wilde Award a year and a half ago. Take that as you will, but Mark's relationship with JJ seems far better and healthier than Mark's relationship with Ryan. Read the full leak here. This is where you can read the full leak. I really believe that this is possibly just trying to get us old fans back on track with everything they have to give. Possibly I'm wrong, and this employee really doesn't like what happened to Star Wars, but even if this is the case, we realize that the backlash is real. Disney has done the unimaginable. And with this I say, suffering in silence. Disney, suffer in silence. And for your fun, the end of some impressions from the last gatekeeping event by Star Wars Explained by blocking more than 2,000 Twitter accounts just for being associated to Jeremy Griggs of Geeks and Gamer, Drunk 3PO, and the Fandom Menace. Yeah, I was one of those folks that was blocked as well on Twitter. Yep. Noway Neophobic, the name is programmed with this one. A long-term Star Wars fan he is, administrator and web designer of this site. He is too. Never too serious, but serious enough when needed. A lover of memes, he is, and a critic of Disney. Star Wars either. Not liking modern social justice warriors, he does because methods of ideology, no sense they make. They don't make any sense when deeper contemplated. Also, you can follow Noway Neophobic on Twitter as well. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Now come on, Hollywood. Stop smelling your own farts. You might get mistaken for arse sniffers. Remember, when you go woke, you go broke.
Please subscribe to Bear Nerd Fun. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Say nerd fun. Nerd fun. Nerd fun. Say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hail to the